All right, we are back. 9 and 8's nonsense. Final guest of the week. Hopefully, we get to do more of these shows. We'll at least look on a couple more weeks of these shows. But final guest of the week before the NFC Championship. I got Bashar from the 49er Minded YouTube channel. How are you doing, man?
Doing great, man. I really appreciate you having me on here.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on your show. So I have you on my show. And obviously, there's some stuff we need to talk about. I think that, most of this show we've been breaking down, the Rams game with the 49ers and NFC Championship. But what I wanted to talk to you about is like this kind of disrespect the 49ers this team. It seems like the NFL media really doesn't believe in this team. They talk about like how the 49ers only scored 13 points on the Green Bay Packers and how that's not impressive. But they don't talk about, the fact that they are playing in cold, in basically 2-degree cold, and it started snowing halfway through that game. And, obviously the 49ers defense is what people talk about the most, but what is the main reason, you think that the 49ers don't get the kind of recognition they should be getting as a team that is in the Final Four? I mean, they're one of the 4 best teams in the NFL this year. That's wild.
It's really hard for me to put my finger on it. Sometimes I just think that it's just the East Coast bias, or they don't like West Coast teams so much. Obviously, one way you can look at it is we have the inferior quarterback in the Final Four. So, as much as some people are, and I hate to rag on Jimmy G, but some, it comes from some Niner fans where they just stare at Jimmy G and they assume he's this great quarterback because of his appearance. But, we have the lackluster quarterback, so maybe that's why we're not getting love. I mean, I don't know. I've been feeling like this since the freaking Harbaugh era. So yeah, it's been a big thorn in my side. So it's really hard for me to explain it at some points. It's hard for me to put my finger on
it. So you mentioned that it's the quarterback, but even when the Bears had Rex Grossman, it seemed like that people actually like at least recognize what the defense is doing is remarkable. And I think Kyle Shanahan should be talked about more, as one of the best head coaches in the league. I understand the 49ers, went into the playoffs 10-7, but the fact that this team has gotten this far, despite the fact that obviously we all know Jimmy G is what he is. He's a starting level quarterback, but not top 10 and not top 15. And so you talk about it, and it's so hard because, you listen to the Achos and the, Stephen A's, who are like, oh, well, Garoppolo's not that good. But the thing is the conversation never changed to Garoppolo's not that good, but Kyle is this good. And it feels like we're constantly seeing, throughout this week, stat lines and all this stuff about Jimmy G on screen, but nobody's really talking about how great Kyle is. I mean, like, they continue to be like, well, he couldn't do this with CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins, but CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins are like top 40 quarterbacks in the world. If you get Kyle a starting level quarterback, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And so I just don't understand where this comes from, that Kyle doesn't get any recognition.
I know going into this season, they were talking about how Kyle only had one winning season, the year that Jimmy G was fully healthy and we went to the Super Bowl, and they were just saying, hey, we missed the boat in the playoffs all these years and Kyle's a bad coach and he, his job could be on the line if we don't make the postseason. But I mean, when Kyle and John Lynch took over the team, this, and a lot of Niner fans know. I'm not sure if the national media is willing to recognize this, but they took over a total trash team. And at the time, it was a trash organization. I mean, we were just coming off of freaking Jim Tom Sula and that trash roster, and the Chip Kelly, even more of a trash roster. And, and I think what they've done is genius so far. And you can look at Kyle. Some people might say he's only a great play caller. Some people may say that, and he's not. They don't think he's a real head coach. I'll tell you this: this team fights and plays till the very end. So they're playing their asses off for him. Excuse my language, but
no, you're good.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is these guys play their asses off for Kyle every single week, and this roster for the most part was constructed by Kyle. Like John Lynch said when they drafted Trey Lance that Kyle has control of the 53-man roster. So the guys who are on this team are controlled by Kyle Shanahan. And so this idea that he's a great play caller, yeah, of course. But he's also a great head coach, and he's proven this year that he is a great head coach because the team didn't have a great year, and here they are in the NFC Championship, one game away from the Super Bowl, playing a team that they've shown ownage over time and time again. And they also, the weird thing that never gets brought up in these conversations, I think, is the fact that this is a 49ers team who's beaten the Rams 6 times in a row, and people refuse to recognize that. That's remarkable. And still people think the Rams are winning. The 49ers are still underdogs, and I don't know. I just don't get it.
For me, I just welcome this underdog role. I think we thrive as underdogs, and I know it's kind of angering you in terms of us not getting the recognition. And I don't know. It's like I've become accustomed to this, but you know, I mean, early in the season, I remember people were calling for Shanahan's head for whatever reason. Things were not gelling. Things were not working. Like, for example, the D line. This is the defensive side of the ball, of course, but it's a part of the team. The D-line was heralded as one of the strengths of the team, or possibly the strength of the team. Early in the season, I'm freaking out, like, because they're not stopping the run, and you know the pass rush isn't necessarily there, other than Bosa. Minus Bosa, the pass rush wasn't there, and I'm like, what's going on here? Just early in the season, people were questioning us. Does this team find this? Do they find their identity? And after that freaking Colt McCoy loss to the Cardinals, this team could have easily taken a nosedive. The locker room could have said, "Hey, we're done. F you, Kyle. We suck. You're overrated." But no, man, this team picked himself up off the ground, and Kyle Shanahan has had a whole lot to do with it.
And so then, you know, you mentioned the defense, and this is actually where the conversation was going anyway, is we talk about, you know, the great defenses in the NFL, the 80s Bears, you know, the Giants teams that beat Joe Montana, the Legion of Boom Seattle Seahawks that beat us. You know, we talk about, as Niner fans, we talk about the 2019 defense, so like it was that team, but obviously they lost to Mahomes. The question I really have for you is, while nobody really talks about how good this defense is and how this defense might actually be better, like you don't see Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tartt getting the kind of recognition they deserve. You know, no one's talking about Emmanuel Mosley and how he's basically been this enigma that nobody's been able to figure out. But if the 49ers win this Super Bowl, do you believe that people will recognize this as one of the greatest defenses of all time? I mean, it's crazy because they not only stopped the best offense in the NFL and Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, then they stopped Aaron Rodgers, who's going to win MVP the night before the Super Bowl. And still nobody really gives them the recognition against Stafford, who's tend to look pretty pedestrian when he plays great defenses.
Yeah, you know, during obviously the first half of the season, I would never have thought this defense was a great defense, mainly because we had Dante Johnson and Josh Norman as our full-time quarterbacks at one point, cornerbacks, that is. At one point, I believe we had Drake Kirkpatrick out there, and my heart would stop every time a deep pass was thrown in the air because, like, oh, what, pass interference? Oh, look, somebody's getting burnt. But, I mean, at one point, I remember you were telling me this back when we were talking on Twitter, that how the 49ers at one point in midseason or before that point, how they almost had no plans to throw Ambry Thomas out on the field and leave him out and have him more learn behind the scenes more so. And look at it. I remember they threw Ambry Thomas in, I don't know, was it week 11 or week 12? I can't remember. And, you know, he was getting burnt in the beginning. And I remember specifically telling some friends of mine, because who were cussing at him about him and saying he sucks and he's a bust. I was like, look, slow down, man. This is like week 2 for Ambry Thomas. You know, we're at the end part of the season. I get it, but let's see what he can do. And knock on wood, we are so fortunate that this guy, Ambry Thomas, just blossoms right before our eyes, making plays. And he's ready for the big dance in the playoffs. And he's looking good so far. And going, my heart sunk about a good 20 minutes before the Green Bay game. I was thinking we were done, we were dead, and we were going to lose because Ambry Thomas wasn't going to play. So, yeah, hats off to his defense. I love what they're doing. D'Amico's a beast. I never thought of this defense as being a top Greek defense, but now I'm taking a step back and I'm looking, this defense, like the most recent bomb amazing Super Bowl defense I could think of was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm thinking, hey, why can't we be named with those guys, up with those guys, or why not?
Yeah, it's funny, and we're talking about this. They think about D'Amico Ryans as getting interviews to be a head coach because of how good the 49ers defense has been, and so like it's just been bizarre to experience this week. And I remember I went to it was a space on the night after the Bills Chiefs game. And basically, we were just in there talking about the weekend, right? And people were coming in, and specifically, and this was with Chris Myers. This is with like NFL people who talk about the NFL for a living. And there's people coming in who just doubt the 49ers. And it's weird because D'Amico Ryans is being considered for a head coaching job because of the job he's done with this team. The fact that they've jumped as fast as they have. And obviously I understand like part of that is having the talent that the 49ers have and he inheriting that talent. But we're talking about a guy who's getting head coaching, offers after his first year as a defensive coordinator, but the 49ers defense still can't get any recognition as the top defense. They are the top defense left in the playoffs. They might have been the top defense left in the playoffs last week, but people are talking about the Buffalo Bills, who then allow Mahomes to score 37 points or 42 points, I think, in that game. So it feels weird that we're sitting here feeling like underdogs because obviously, like, I understand they're a 6 seed. That is underdog, but the things the 49ers have done through 2 weeks in this playoffs, I don't think the Rams do it. I don't think the LA Rams are able to go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers and hold him to 10 points and 1 touchdown. The guy who's going to win the MVP, 1 touchdown. It's just really frustrating for me.
On my post-game show, after being sitting there in disbelief, literally after we made that field goal, a friend of mine left me a voice message and he was all pumped up. Hey, we're in the NFC Championship game. And then I stopped and I was like, we're in the NFC Championship game. I didn't even think about it. It didn't even click. I was like, how did we go from where we were at that point in the season to the damn NFC Championship game? So it's pretty crazy. Actually, how you mentioned the Chris Myers space, and a buddy of mine was messaging me in that, and I had tried to jump in there. By the time I jumped in there, he was already gone. So hopefully I could catch him the next time around. But what I wanted to say was, on my show, I mentioned, what this team reminds me of? This team is a freaking throwback to like the 70s, those hard-nosed, gritty teams with strong, amazing defenses and just knock the freaking snot out of you. That's what we are. We're not that flashy Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl team that whipped our butt in the fourth quarter, but we find a way to win. So I love what we're doing. I think we went through the heart. Assuming we face Mahomes in the Super Bowl, who knows? Assuming we get that far, but so far, as far as the elements in that Green Bay game and facing Rodgers, that was an extremely tough test. I think we had the strongest test out of anybody in the playoffs so far.
And the other thing that's kind of interesting to me before we let you go for the show is think about this. The greatest teams, or the teams that generally find ways to win Super Bowl, don't have to have the best quarterbacks in the world. Everyone says that the mantra is defenses win championships. Well, the 49ers have the best defense left. I understand they don't have Joe Burrow. They don't have Patrick Mahomes. Hell, they don't even have Matthew Stafford. They have a guy who's going to throw the check down every time. He's not going to try and make the luxurious throw. But the thing is, the 49ers have something that those teams don't. The 49ers have guys who can stop them from throwing the ball downfield. And that's one thing that I don't think the Chiefs have. I don't think that the Joe Burrows, the Bengals have. And I don't think that the Rams have that. There's nothing about these teams that really truly scares me besides their quarterbacks and maybe the weapons they have, obviously, like the Jamar Chases, the Cooper Kupps, the Tyreek Hills, those guys, right? But we have the absolute counter to that, I believe. I don't know what you think on that.
The one team that actually scared me, and I was shaking in my boots. I did not want us to play Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was primarily going off of what I saw in the Super Bowl. And obviously I saw how they beat up, the living daylights out of the Eagles. But, I was watching that game against the Rams, and Stafford looked so comfortable in the pocket for the most part of the game. And then vice versa, it's not like the Rams pass rush was really putting a hurting on Brady. So I don't know, man. I just see us as totally much tougher than both of those teams. And, I know we've played the Rams so many times, and usually I fear playing a team 3 times, but I think I was mentioning this to you, and you mentioned it, I'm pretty sure, to other people, and because of the same thought clicked on both of our heads, because we're so used to getting our damn asses kicked by the freaking Seahawks all the damn time. So the Rams are our, we're the Seahawks to the Rams, to what, to what the, if I can say this right, the Seahawks are to us to what we are to the Rams, basically, is what it is. And we all know it's going to be lit in Levi's South SoFi Stadium. I made a song about it, damn it.
Yeah, you did. And that's the thing is, I just feel like it's really annoying as a 49er fan to not get this kind of recognition when you really feel like you are better than these teams. And I think that's That's the thing I can't figure out. And I'd love to know what other people think, other 49er fans, if you want to message me on Twitter, we can talk about that. But it just feels weird because we know we're the best defense. And then, mention that Bucks game before we end. That Bucks team was super injured. The Bucks were not like the same Bucks that won the Super Bowl last year. And I understand like the Rams, pretty handled them, but the Rams almost lost to that team. And so it's just, I'm just getting maybe too worked up, but I think that like, why not us? I just don't get it.
Exactly.
I don't understand why people aren't talking about this team more.
If we host that damn Lombardi, they're going to have to talk about us. They're going to have no choice. So I just say we got to, go full bore, in LA.
How crazy is it though, that we have to wait until we get into the Super Bowl for people to talk about us? Like, I think we're going to defeat the Rams and I think we're going to take care of them pretty easily. Like in those 2 weeks between the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship, the 49ers defense, the 49ers playmakers, like I understand Debo gets the recognition, Kittle gets the recognition. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a defense that has been phenomenal, that's not getting any recognition. That's the thing I'm getting mad about. Yeah. And that's the thing I hope these talking heads talk about if we get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they better talk about it. Look at our linebackers. I mean, D'Amico Ryans has raised these linebackers. Fred Warner's back to playing at all-pro level. He did that amazing punch. I forgot who he made fun, but I think it was the tight end on the Green Bay Packers, if you can remember. But, that was an awesome.
Someone else, yeah.
Yeah, it was somebody else. And I know some Niner fans, I talked on Twitter, were kind of downplaying Greenlaw in his career as a 49er, saying, he's only done 2 great plays. He's not all that. The Greenlaw is looking pretty damn good since he came back. And I love Aziz Ashar. So all 3 of those guys, I mean, those guys should be heralded as like a freaking great linebacker trio. I remember back in the days when the freaking New Orleans Saints had those 4 guys. I forgot what they called them. They had Patrick Swilling and Sam Mills and Von Johnson, and they had some Ricky Jackson, former 49er. The Dome Patrol, I think they called them. Like, I remember linebacking crews used to get heralded as like a great thing for the NFL, and it was marketable. They made a poster out of those damn linebackers, and other linebacking trios and linebacking corps would get all this praise. What, we don't get any praise like that. I don't know why. I mean, now I'm starting to get mad. Does Boza get any praise from the refs? I mean, does he get any respect from the refs? I mean, he's held all the damn time. It's a joke.
It's just maybe this has just been me 20 minutes ranting about no respect going into an NFC Championship game. But like, I wanted Dangerfield. This is what I wanted to talk about. I just really feel like, and I think 49er fans feel me, and I wanted to kind of be that voice because I really feel like we're being disrespected because I think we're about to go do something that's really amazing, and I think that's bring 6 back to San Francisco and I guess Santa Clara, but I think the parade will be in San Francisco. Don't quote me on that.
Hey, we're gonna bring that Super Bowl to California. We're California's team, buddy.
Well, we're not SoCal's team because FLA. That's my thing. But Shar, if they want to check out that song or any of your content, how can they do it?
Okay, so the YouTube channel is 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans, and
that's really clever.
Hey man, it happened along the way through osmosis. I didn't think of it right off the bat. It's my channel has gotten better over time. It's just, the more content I put out, just certain things I pick up on and I try to make things better. But it's a guest driven show. For me, I love conversation. I'm not the kind of person that's just going to sit there and just babble all by myself. I need to talk 49ers with somebody else. And when I'm talking 49ers, I'm in my happy place. And the chat is always lit on my YouTube channel. Thank God I have great people who participate in the chat, and we have a lot of fun on there. Lately, I actually did the Stunna Man big step and dance after we won on Saturday night. Because it was like, hey, it's a big deal. Hey, we freaking won a playoff game. We're headed to the NFC Championship game. So every now and then, little surprises will happen along the way. I had you on there. Had a great time with you on there. I had Nick for Nothing But Niners.
He was on this show. Earlier,
he wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really? Right before? Okay. I had Jesse Naylor. So, and I've had other lesser known YouTubers, but just because they're lesser known, it doesn't mean that they don't have great insight or people don't know who they're not good. It's for me. I'm trying to help get their name out. They're trying to help get my name out. It's a great time of 49er Minded. I'm so happy that I did it. I was never, for 3 years, I was telling myself, make a YouTube channel. I never freaking did it. Then one day I woke up one morning, I said, you know what? Screw this. What am I doing to myself? I got to do this. So It's a lot of fun. I just put out a 49er hype song called Who's Going to the Game. It's a spinoff of the E40. Tell me when to go. You're going to hear the foghorn, the Greg Papa touchdown call, but I put my little twist on it with my own lyrics. And, I think you may laugh or find it funny or dance or do whatever. You get hyped. The point is to get hyped for this Niner team because we're going to do something.
I really believe that too, Bashar. I really appreciate you coming on. You can find me at NinerNate49 on Twitter. Always doing spaces, always posting stuff, always live tweeting the game. If you want to send me a DM, my DMs are always open as long as we're talking about the 49ers and not NFTs or whatever else people seem to be trying to reach me about lately. But I just want to say before we close out, this episode has been a longer episode because it's the NFC Championship. Have fun with this because a lot of teams don't get to experience this. This is a team that's been to 2 NFC championships in the last 3 years and 5 in the last 10 years. That's really impressive. Detroit Lions fans would kill for what we have right now. So no matter what happens on Sunday, appreciate it, enjoy it. If they get to the Super Bowl, we'll be back next week. We'll be talking all about this. We might even do 6 guests next week. We'll see what we do. We might try some crazy stuff. We'll see what happens. But just enjoy everything, every moment about this. This is really special. If the 49ers beat the Rams, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. And I want my revenge. I don't know about you, Bashar. I want my revenge, and I don't care who gets it. But once again, thanks for listening to the show. Remember to like, subscribe, check it out. And, one more thing. The hype train never stops, baby.